Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for this week, starting on the 18th of July 2022. This is the fourth time I've done this video and it's been a real roller coaster of emotions, which feels very poignant in relationship to this week. However, what I've come full circle to recognize is don't get involved with things that aren't your stuff. Okay, so there were so many backstories that I could have shared in this video that were shared in the other ones, and there's a lot going on and I can just feel that. I can feel it almost wanting to pull me backwards. This week, owe yourself the privilege of knowing that you are ready to move forward, that we are all collectively ready to move forward, and that if anything is tempting you backwards, it is up to you to say, I don't like how that feels, it's not resonating, this video included, and just keep going. Okay. It almost feels as if the biggest drive I've felt so far this to date to hold us energetically back from where it is we're going. And of course that is because we are leading up to the Lion's Gate, which is very heart-centered, very expansive, very light energy. And it's going to take courage this week. Now I can feel the energy. It's going to take courage this week to open up to our potential, to say we're too comfortable in that place. We are ready now to do the next step. And only we can do that. So what I'm going to do is look at the energies for this week, and I'm taking a real step back, which is what I tend to do anyway with the videos, but this one in particular feels incredibly poignant, that we take it higher, that we really see a different view, that we're aware of our stories and our insights, which there's been an awful lot of this morning alone, but that they don't all need sharing. So when I say I'm going to do a collective reading, I'm going to do a collective reading in that it isn't just my interpretation, and that feels key this week, to recognize that we all have different ways of translating the energy that is coming through, and that we are all entitled to those dialects. It doesn't mean we have to change our own, and it most certainly does not mean that we have to interpret for others unless they ask us to do so. Okay, so now that feels better. Right, let's look at the energy for this week, or rather, no, let's look at the best way to navigate the energy this week, which feels very poignant actually, to be aware of the particulars. You know, what is it we are actually being asked of this week? Are we being asked to become involved in the energy, or are we being asked to look at how we navigate it and as a result create what is happening? Step into the energy you want to see. You know, it's very cliche and it's very stereotypical, but we are the change that we've been looking for. So if you long for a life that is clear, that is balanced, become that. Become clear and balanced, and anything that isn't of that, or anything that knocks that, be aware of it with gratitude and let it go. Don't poke your energetic nose into something that isn't related to where you want to be. It is pretty much as simple as that this week, and I can really feel quite a clear-cut energy trying to come through, and emphasis is trying to come through. I can also feel a lot of mental confusion, a lot of safety coming from playing small this week, a lot of comfort in wanting to stick to old stories and looking at those secondary gains that we get from sticking to old stories, but actually taking responsibility this week. And it feels quite fierce. It feels quite fierce, but it is the yin energy that we've been waiting for. It is the divine feminine energy that we've been waiting for, and it is gentle strength coming in through the crown chakra. So how do we best navigate that? Now that we know what it is, and that's key, knowing what it is first, getting clarity. Now that did come up in the other reading, to get clarity of what is occurring before we try and navigate it. So Monday, that's more like it. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, over all, bottom of the pack. So at the bottom of the pack we have 6 of Pentacles, which is breakthrough. Okay, and just like the sunflower, we are being asked to grow, we are being asked to stretch, we are being asked to turn towards the light. Okay, which ironically, and we have the 6 of air underneath, which is clarity, and then the 3 of Pentacles, which is growth in this pack. So, and the Empress. So I could just keep going through the pack. And the Empress, or the grandmother. Okay, so we are being asked to step into the elder energy that we are, and that comes from growth, and that comes from breaking through now with the clarity that we've all spent so long getting, you know. And sometimes when we constantly seek answers for the same concern without acting them out, we believe less and less in the answers, which means we believe less and less in our connection, we believe less and less in our intuition, and what that does is really knock our self-worth. The proof is in the pudding this week, and it is about standing up, stretching, growing, breaking through our own perceived glass ceiling this week, leaning towards the light, which is ironic because we're being advised to stay indoors unless we need to go out today because it's one of the hottest days of the year. Now, I'm not getting into that. I've been firmly guided not to get too much into all of that energy, but what I will say, stay safe. Make sure you drink a lot of water and look after yourself, and use your savvy. You know, use your brain here. If it's too hot, go indoors, you know, and just really connect to your body. Okay, so the energy overall for this week is the Ace of Air, and I knew this was going to come up this morning because I found yet another feather on my path, and I kind of stopped collecting them because the back of my garden was getting covered in these feathers that stand upright. But actually I had a beautiful friend come round not that long ago and use the feather for healing. So it is recognizing this week that those things that are in our path are there for future events. And that's all I feel I want to say about that, you know, recognizing what is in our past is for our path is for future events, and just thinking, if we could look back over our past and recognize that everything that was on that path was for us now, wow, that changes our whole view of everything that has happened, right? And that's what we have today, Monday, transformation, the death card. And we have owl here, we have wisdom here, and it is that elder energy. It is about taking everything we've discovered now and just creating the change, the reason behind seeking the answers in the first place, creating that change and becoming death, embodying the death card, embodying transformation. So in the tarot, the death card has children begging in front of them, rich people begging in front of them, poorly people begging in front of them. And this is our archetype. So this is our innocent child that isn't ready to move forward. And this is our, will we get enough money doing X, Y, and Z, or am I physically up to it? These are all our own self-sabotage aspects in front of us, and it is about, okay, I see that you're X, Y, and Z, okay, I understand that I'm feeling a bit nervous about whatever, but the only way I'm going to do this is to not prove it to myself, because there's nothing to prove. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people wanting proof, a lot of people wanting results, and there's a real emphasis this week of having to be the result. It's up to us to be the result this week. It's up to us to put these changes in place and be the transformation that we're looking for, to be the solution. Okay. So on the Tuesday we have the 7 of Air, and in this deck it's futility. And I see all those little feathers that I've personally collected. Okay, but all those ideas and how futile it can feel when they don't quite come into fruition on the Tuesday. So, you know, it's like, okay, so I did the transformation Monday. Where's the change? Right. Let's take it to a labour analogy. You have a contraction that brings the baby further down. So you have this monumental transformation, this shift that brings what it is we're trying to create further down into physical reality. What you then don't have is contraction after contraction after contraction, because otherwise we hemorrhage, otherwise we lose energy, we lose necessary vitality if we keep push. So it is about that balance. It is about recognizing everything that's been collected in the Seven of Swords. Every idea has helped to make a staff that will lead us forward. Every lesson, every experience has got us where we are now. It's all endurance. 7 is spiritual endurance. So it is about enjoying the pause. It is about enjoying the pause between contractions, knowing that is an opportunity to restock, to rebalance. It could be a breath. Yeah, it could be, that's happened, goodness me, breathe. Oh, that's happened, okay, breathe. But to really make sacred the gaps in between endings and beginnings, so that we can recognize that something has actually ended, right? Otherwise we're just going to keep repeating the same thing. So we can look around and think, well, nothing has actually changed, but actually we have an awareness of what needs to change, and just by that, something is changing. Pause, take a moment, be where you are with all of these ideas, with all of these lessons that you've discovered, in between everything you are trying to change, because then you come at it from the place of the elder, from the leader, from the experiential learning, not from a place of not knowing. Because then on the Wednesday we have the medicine wheel, or the small medicine wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune in this deck. Then we have the sheer fact that the eagle can see from a higher vision. Then we know actually the real truth of change, the real secret of change. That there is always a balance. There is change, there is shift, there is pausing, reflection, change and shift. It is the wheel. So what goes up comes down. This too will pass. That means, you could be having a really great experience, and then it might change. That doesn't mean anything bad has happened. That's just the other side of the coin. Okay? Or you could be in a really dark place right now, but knowing that everything you've discovered leading up to that is what's going to help you shift that energy when the time is right. And that's what I really hear, when the time is right. And I feel like I want to pat myself on the back. On the Thursday, we have the Father of Fire. So we have the King of Wands, and it is about being grounded in knowing that when the time is right, we will take aim. Yeah, we will get what it is that we're trying to achieve, guided by their strong, powerful energy. So you have the bison, you have a horse, you have an inner calling, so in this it's like a smoke signal, listening to the inner calling. When we listen to our body, when we listen to our spirit source, our higher self, energy, whatever you want to call it, going through our body, when we really feel into it, we know when to act, we know when to be. And it's trusting that in regards to whatever it is we're trying to create this week. It is allowing our actions to portray our desires. So we have Father of Fire, which is very masculine, which is our actions. Not being stereotypical, but to keep, that feels very important to. It's not about being stereotypical or judgmental this week. It's about seeing things for what they are. Okay. So seeing the energies for the energies that they portray. So on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do have an opportunity to see our actions as the result of our desires, and our inactions as the result of our desires as well. On the Thursday, it feels like there's great clarity there, knowing that if we want something, we have to go after it, and we have to trust that when we get it, it was always going to be when we were going to get it, and to trust that we know when to go after something, because that's going to change it all. Because then what I see is the Father of Fire looking back over the changes, seeing the Seven of Swords not as futile but as experience, endurance, the very strength, the very buffalo behind him, and the ability to transform and break through, and that connection to Source and our higher self in the Ace of Swords, Ace of Air, that is all this week. So on the Friday, we then have the mother of air, and we realise that on the Friday, the very thought, the very driving connection behind it all is actually feminine. It is the divine feminine that has been watching us. Now, when I say watching us, I mean waiting for us to be ready to receive whatever it is that now needs to be created, whatever it is that is now being asked of us. And I love the sheer fact that the change card has a eagle in the middle and the mother of air has one behind her. So it is about knowing that the higher vision comes from reflection, comes from our emotions, comes from the divine feminine within us. So we can act as much as we like, and I hear act out as well on the Thursday, as much as we like, but it is how we nurture those actions and how we reflect on those actions that gives us the ultimate wisdom and change that we're looking for. If we're repeating the actions and then berating ourselves for it, one, we're repeating the actions, so we haven't reflected to the degree where we can actually learn and move forward. And if we're berating them, then we're not nurturing the environment enough to be able to learn from them to move forward. So really looking at that this week. On the Saturday, we have the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands, which is completion. And I do see a good clearing needed, a good cleansing, not just of the home, but of our energies, and bringing together all elements within us. So that's key this week. It feels like the divine feminine. Okay, the divine feminine, when we talk about the divine feminine, it isn't just female, it's all encompassing energy. So think of the earth. She has air, fire, water, soil. She has all the elements. She has dark and light. She has good and bad. All different elements, and they're all part of the whole. They're all part of the one cycle, and so do we. Yeah, we have thoughts, we have emotions, we have drives, we have physical actions, we have a physical body that helps us to recognize all of these. We have dark sides, we have light sides, we have bits that we're proud of, perhaps bits that we're not so proud of. But on the Saturday, it is recognizing they are all part of the cycle. They are all part of this completion of learning that we've had. And soul disassociation, I feel like a big soul retrieval Saturday. When we push away parts that we don't like, we're pushing away aspects of ourselves, which means we're watering ourselves down. We are not our complete self. When we bring those parts back and whole and nurture them and look at our actions in a more reflective way, that's when that deep learning and completion actually happens. And that can be in a split second, that can be in a breath. So remember, at the beginning of the week, to have that change, we can think, right, I don't want to do this anymore. Breathe, let the body acknowledge that, let the shift occur. And we may end up doing it in a different way. Okay, so no, that's not how I want to do it. Breathe, acknowledge, move forward. So our whole body can be a medicine wheel. Okay, our whole body can have all of the elements, from the air that we breathe in, from the cells that get excited, and the endorphins and things that start to flow within our system, which is the fire, through to the almost milking of our lymphatic system when we do deep breaths, and the movement of fluid around our body, and the exhale, the physical release as we do it. So recognizing the power of the breath this week. Just take a moment when anything comes up. What are you doing when you breathe? Where is your breath? Really being inside of how you're breathing, where you're breathing, and direct your breath to wherever you feel it may be a bit closed off or agitated or whatever. Breathe in what it is you're trying to achieve. Imagine what it would feel like. Breathe it in and breathe out anything that stands in the way of you getting that. So your thoughts in particular this week. Then on the Sunday, and I feel like saying you have Four of Earth, which is security. So if I'm watching this back at one point, you have, or whoever's watching this, but on the Sunday we have the Four of Earth, which is security. And that's the only card throughout the reading that I have felt on a more individual basis. So recognizing this week, everything that's going on around us is to help us see how secure we feel in who we are, in our relationships, in our place here on the earth, financially, physically, whatever. So anything that shifts us this week is to help us look at any changes that need to come into play in regards to our own security. Abundance is going to come under the spotlight this year in particular, but over the next few years, and it is very much about our judgments in 2020 onwards, very much about our judgments in regards to our security and our needs being met, and we are all doing a collective healing related to abundance. So really knowing that this week, and knowing that everything that we're doing is to help complete this cycle, to help a breakthrough for us all. So let's reflect. There is one, I want to giggle when I put my finger on the Ace of Air, when I put my hand on the overall energy this week and see the Ace of Swords, I just feel like I want to giggle. So keeping it light this week in regards to our thoughts. But there is 1, 2, again I just want to giggle, 3 sword cards. Now 3 swords, the 3 of Swords is normally heartbreak or separation. And what I'm feeling here is a real separation from our own sense of humour this week. So we have the Ace of Swords, the 7 of Swords, and the Mother of Swords, or Queen of Swords. And very much what I'm seeing here is knowing that everything, again, in your path is like a little secret message from the earth. You know, just, it may seem futile to you. It may think, oh God, have I really got to do this again? But it's another opportunity to look at where you may be holding yourself back in connection to who you are on this earth. So lighten up, because the ultimate separation is the one that we have done from Pachamama. If we can really connect back to the earth, especially this year with it being the Lover's Year, I cannot stress it enough, especially this year, if we can really connect back to our Eden, all needs are met. And I had to really think about that, to really think about how that would be taken. I had to really think about the possible triggers that may cause, but more importantly, I had to think, do I really believe in it? And this week, it isn't about the triggers. It isn't about how something is said and how it will be met, or any reaction. What it's about is how much you believe in what it is you're saying. How much do you believe in what it is you want? How much do you believe in what it is you are here to do, and your connection and your own security? It's going to come under the spotlight this week. Because it's that we've separated from collectively. We have separated from abundance. We have separated from a world where everything that we need is here, and we have all collectively stepped into a world of lack, and it's that that's being healed. So I'm then being drawn, after I look at the swords, to look at the 2 major arcanas, and we have transformation and the Wheel of Fortune. So how we see change has to come under the spotlight. How we mentally see change. And that's all I feel I need to say on that at the moment. But how we mentally see change has to come under the spotlight. And what I'm actually seeing here is to see it from a more grown up, wiser perspective, to know that yes, change happens, but also that we are initiators of change, and that there needs to be that balance there. We cannot do it on our own. We need each other to create this change, but we must create our own individual shifts as well. I see a lot of people pointing a lot of fingers at a lot of situations and a lot of other people, but not turning it back on themselves. And there needs to be a balance. There always needs to be a balance. Okay. There is more on that, but I'll come back to it. We then have two wand cards, the King of Wands and the Four of Wands. Having grounded belief, connection, and structure in your actions. Boom. Simple as that. So you want change, put it into your daily routine. You want structure, believe that you need it and stand behind it, and train for whatever it is you are trying to bring in. If you want to see the results, bring them in your actions. They need to be met. It's an equal partnership. Okay. So Pentacles, there again is 2 Pentacles. So we have 3 Sword cards, 2 Fire cards and 2 Pentacles. So quite balanced. Early stages. So union and creativity. And the union comes from the masculine and the feminine, but the creativity comes from the masculine, from the actions, to do with our thoughts. I hear the word self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what I hear. You know, if we believe something enough, it becomes our truth. I'm really looking at that. In regards to our own security and our own ability to break through something this week. If we want that balance, if we want to get back what we receive, get back what we give, it is about recognizing our worth. Not from other people, but for ourselves. So if we're finding situations very repetitive, stop the situation. If it isn't, if there's no growth there for anyone involved, then try a different way. Right. So I really felt like there was more to that, and I felt a little bit stuck. Like, what is the other way? What is the other way? And there's no water cards in the whole reading, so I've just cut the pack because there was a card underneath trying to come out, and it is the mother. I've got Mother of Fire here as well now, but it is the Mother of Water. If we want that creative flow, yeah, it is really looking at our emotions this week and really balancing them. It's the Queen of Cups. Really balancing our emotions, in particular when we're swimming upstream. You see all the creatures there swimming upstream. Really looking at our cycles, really looking at our own intuition, really looking at our own flow here, and trusting that, you know, we are our own proof. We have got through many things, and nothing that has happened has been futile. The only time any lessons or any mistakes are seen as mistakes is when we don't learn from them. Okay, so really knowing this week that in order to have that flow, in order to have something different, lightening it up, watching our emotions, in particular stagnant ones that may still be blocking the flow. Is there anything else? I felt a real need to pause, a real need to reflect, to put that all behind you. That's what I feel. Put it all behind you. So, one card this week. Yeah. How do we do that? I said one card. Right. Okay. So we have, or had, the Seven of Water, the Seven of Cups, excess. Okay, all those things that we thought might come through, not quite coming through the way that we expected, and breaking us, literally breaking us as a container of dreams and wishes and flow. Yeah, but there's still 2 cups there. There's still something to be celebrated there. There's still union there of everything that we have experienced, and that's where temperance comes in with those 2 cups. Integration. It is about knowing that everything we go through is to weave a web of creativity, to put a story into our blankets that will hold our grandchildren and our great-great-grandchildren. Okay, so it is up to us to integrate any aspects that we want to take forward now. Go within. The Hermit. Go within and connect to what it is you need. Yeah, what it is you need to now be taking forward. What is your light? What is your purpose? What is your driving force? Start again. Harvest from now until, I keep saying harvest. From now until the next equinox, and harvest. That's all I want to say. Harvest the lessons. Yeah, know that everything we experience is the very seeds of what it is we're about to grow again. And if we're planting seeds from rotten fruit, then that's all we're going to get. So look at what we're harvesting. Look at the seeds that we're going to plant for the next year. Go within, integrate the lessons, get rid of the excess. We don't need to take things forward now. And underneath there's a card of loss and negative thinking and doubt. Goodness me, yes. Can I do it though? Can I let it go? Can I move forward? You know, am I ready for the loss of who I was, the loss of how things were? Yeah, underneath it all, 9 of Wands, inner strength. That's that one staff of futility. All those lessons, all those ideas, all of it has helped us collectively gain an inner strength of everything that's happened. It's up to us to take that forward. Okay. It's up to us. Last one. I keep saying last one, but these cards are just beautiful. To see the light with joy and innocence. We have hummingbird there. We have the nectar way. We have the hero's journey. We have the unknown in the north. And it is about feeding just from the joy of life. And you can do that. We can do that. It's essential now. And seeing things in a different way. From a different perspective. That is literally all it takes. Even our own experiences, especially our own experiences. Seeing them for the strength that they have given us means we no longer take the experiences forward, but the strength, that flame, that light, that power. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. Take care.